if somebody wants to be a trad wife, and it works out for the family, then that's cool. But it also like if somebody's going to be doing all of that work, like all the house cleaning and such, like they need to be provided for. And I think that
let's definitely get back to that.
In society now, it's harder because, you know, things are so expensive for like every family unit to do that. Like typically women have to work too in the family. And I just would hope in a perfect world, nobody would be putting all of the responsibilities on one person in the family.
Maybe we can just jump in now. It seemed like, Andrew, you wanted to you had something on this. We can just jump in now.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure I get the position down. So if the woman's staying at home, she should be provided for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like?
It looks like taking care of the house, taking care of the meals.
No, her being provided for. What does that look like?
Oh, well, provided for financially, like
well, women will kind of often tell me there's like a trope, right? They go, well, if I'm staying at home, I'm cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, basically, right? And I drive them to school, and when they have a toothache and when they're sick, I take care of them, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
I get all that. What's the expectation for being provided for, though? What does that look like?
Having everything you need and never
what is that,
stressing out about it.
Everything, but what is that? When you say need, does that mean like a bowl of gruel a day because that sustains you?
No,
what does it look like?
Living happily, like being able to have all of the things that make somebody comfortable. You know,
comfortable.
Like, yeah, to live in comfort. Yeah.
Okay, so you think that if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, you should live in comfort?
You should have the things you need and some of the things you want. Yeah.
This really doesn't tell me anything. So you say you should have the things you need. Okay. Need's a very subjective word, right? What do you need? You need to sleep. You need to drink water. You need to eat food.
You need gas. Yeah.
Yeah. You need stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. You need those things. But when it comes to comfort, luxuries, things like that, what are the expectations there?
Have extra money, I guess. I mean, if somebody's not to be working and they don't have an income, so they're taking care of the house, right?
Okay, but like some girls expect all the bills paid plus their nails done and their hair done and like their upkeep. Is that what you're saying?
What are your expectations, in other words, for being provided for if you're staying at home?
If that's the agreement between the two.
Well, what are your expectations?
Well, hang on. Before we get to me, can we finish on the inquiry here? I'm just curious. The statement is, I stay at home and should be provided for. I'm not disputing that. I'm just trying to figure out what that means. What does it mean I'm being provided for? Does that mean my food and board is taken care of and that's it? Or does that mean I get my hair and nails done X amount of weeks, I have my own account, he puts money in it, I get an allowance? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like being able to have some extra spending money, I guess.
Okay, those are your expectations?
Yeah, being able to, like when you're working, you can buy bigger things, you know, like a car, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not a job to stay at home.
Should he buy you
it's
a
a
car?
Responsibility in a sense.
Yeah, should he buy you a car?
No. I mean, unless I need it and he's
okay.
working and can afford it. But
right.
if I don't need it, then or want it, I guess.
And it also differ from couple to couple.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a standard, because the standard here was if women stay home, she should be taken care of. It's not just her, right? It's just a woman in general, right? They stay. So I'm just trying to figure out what she thinks that means.
Be provided for financially in needs and wants.
And wants.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line on wants?
I feel like, I feel like a good comparison to make, and I hate to make this comparison, is like how you would like take care of your child, like kind of like buy them clothes, like buy them, you know, give them the funds to do that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's kind of
treat
like
your woman like a child.
No, I don't think you should treat her like a child. I think that you should like when it comes to like doing the necessary funds for them, I think that's a similar kind of like...
Yeah, but what is necessary? What does that mean?
Well, what do you think it means?
Well, I'm not making the claim.
I don't know.
Well, when you were
talking I'm not making the claim. So the thing is
necessary, I guess, would mean like if you want to talk about needs, like food, shelter, water, housing.
I get those. I grant all of those are needs.
And then I think that if a woman isn't working and she can't provide for herself, then the man should probably take care of everything else. I mean, there's
all of her wants.
Well, also hair and nails. Sometimes
I guess
the
what I'm
husband
getting at
wants
is
that.
like who ultimately makes the decision on who provides what. If
I
the
see.
man is
They make
working.
the decision together.
Yeah. What if they can't agree?
Then they shouldn't be together.
I
Oh,
agree,
great.
yeah. Or go to therapy.
Wow.
Find someone you're
Whoa,
compatible with.
You fixed it.
Simple fix.
Awesome. What if we can't agree? Then get the fuck out of here. Great. That's
well,
awesome.
Well, no, but I think this should be discussed at the beginning of a relationship
Because
too.
people don't have things which come up in relationships they disagree about all the time, even after they've made an agreement.
Sure, but you can mitigate
before the relationship.
But you can
right?
mitigate the risks
How?
by speaking about it ahead of time. That
Sure.
doesn't mean that nothing will come up to change.
Right. So since we know that
so then how do we
there's
answer
gonna
this
be-
easily?
Well, here
we're
I'm
accounting
not
for a
looking
bunch of.
for an easy answer, right?
So then, are we discussing just the initial?
We're discussing all of
who's
it.
going to be happy
Hang
at
on.
the end of this?
Hang on, let me answer to this. We're discussing all of it. So let's
Okay.
start with this idea. You have children, right?
Yes.
Doesn't that change the dynamic in a relationship?
Maybe to some extent.
To everybody, it's going to change
in
the
regards
dynamic.
to like finances.
No, just in
general, yes,
behavior.
yes.
Just in behavior, period.
Yeah.
It's going to change the dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you two have to agree about another life too, not just your own.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm talking about is a threshold breaker. Where do we get to the threshold breaker? Where do we get to the point where, like, kind of tying it back to what you said earlier, Andrew, I can't believe you fucking monster that you don't let your wife have a say in anything. And it's like, well, okay, one, that would be absurd. But two, I'm giving you a great logical reason why right this second. What happens when we hit a threshold breaker? We can do one of two things. We can do what you do and destroy our entire family because you shouldn't be together.
That's not what I
Or-
was okay,
or
that's dramatic.
Perhaps.
drama.
Well, hang on. How is it dramatic? You said they shouldn't
No,
be together.
but I
That's
was,
dramatic.
No,
Why does it
speaking
have to
off
be
of
the
basis
man?
of first meeting? Not
Right.
like
So
once
this
you're
is
in a
so this is the
relationship.
question, right? You say why does
Yeah.
it have to be the man? Well, the woman staying at home. You're saying that women have wants that are not necessities. I want things that aren't necessities. So, who makes the determination she gets what she wants? Her? If she's relying on the money from the man?
I mean, that's actually fair if that relationship has that dynamic. I guess that would be, but I like, again, going back to like what I was saying before, like I think like this is like a relationship, like by relationship basis, like it depends on the relationship. Like for you, that might
yeah, we're
work.
entailing the relationship right now.
So
which
do you
is
want
the
us
woman
each
staying at
to
home.
answer individually?
Okay,
'Cause,
yes.
like,
So I agree in this
so
situation.
we're entailing the relationship right this second. We're saying in this relationship, the woman's staying at home. The man's providing not just for what her needs, but for her wants as well. So if he's providing for needs and wants, plus, like, for instance, she might have all sorts of frivolous shit he doesn't care about. Guarantee you, in fact, he does. Right? Okay, you're going to spend money on that frivolous shit, fine. Guarantee you that there's going to be plenty of things that a woman gets that he literally does not give a shit about. Right? That's not really even going to be up for debate. That's going to happen. So if that's the case, right, who's the threshold breaker? Who gets to be the ultimate symmetry breaker, the decision maker when the two people can't agree?
if he makes the money,
Yeah.
I think from the onset
it-
of a relationship,
you know.
if a woman's looking for something that's a lavish lifestyle, then she should be targeting a man who's going to provide that lifestyle, and you can't expect that out of somebody who is not living that life. So, like, if you're a blue-collar guy that might not be making as much as, you know, a Saudi prince, then if she wants a lavish lifestyle, then she should not be going for that blue-collar guy.
Yeah, while I agree that that's true, I think that this is scalable. So
he's saying like, what if he like loses income or something? Then how do you adjust? The point he's trying to get to is that if he makes the money, ultimately he gets to decide
But,
what
like-
it's spent on.
Yeah.
To
Wait, is
summarize.
that even?
Well, I mean, one, I would agree that yes, that's true. But also further, I take it one step forward and say you actually, because there's only two people who are in a relationship, right? Unless you're a fucking weirdo. But normally you have mommy and you have daddy, absent blue-haired Coomer gremlin. So ultimately, I would think since there's two, you guys are going to have a disagreement at some point. Somebody has to be the decider. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to be the one who breaks the symmetry, right? I don't see a way around that. I've never seen a way around it.
What if you had like a random
No, I
number
agree.
generator?
What's that?
What if you had like a random number generator and you like flipped a coin?
Yeah, okay, so let's say you flip the coin and you still disagree.
Well, you have to go whatever the coin flips.
You don't have to do shit, right?
Well, I mean, if that's the agreement,
Well,
you
then
do
you
have
can't
to
really
do it.
definitively debate this.
Yes, you
with
can.
so many
Definitively
variables.
I'm sorry, wait a second. People don't change their mind all the time? constantly, consistently.
Well, if you're agreeing to flip a coin and whichever side it lands on, you go with that. Then if you go back on that agreement, then that relationship isn't going to work.
I suppose that two people could agree to flip a coin, and wherever it goes, it goes. But I think that would be a really bad way to.
Yeah,
decide
I agree. It
disagreements.
would
One,
be.
but two, I still think that would create more problems than it would help.
It would, but I also think, like, when you say that the man should make the decisions, like, how do you have conversations with your wife then? Do you, like, tell her what you're going to do, or do you ask her first? Like,
well, I think like
about-
any healthy relationship on planet Earth, we have discussions about what we want to do.
Okay, so you
why
take-
we want to do those
yeah.
things. However, right, if there's any impasse, I'm just going to decide. And there's many times.
Can you
where
give me, like, an example of, like, a time where you had to put your foot down?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time, especially with raising kids.
Okay.
Right? All the time, nonstop, especially when it comes to discipline, things like that. And
Okay,
I'm like,
that's fair.
Okay, you want this to happen, I want that to happen. I don't fucking care. It's going to happen this way.
Okay. I see.
Very simple, right? Very easy. So
That
like
wasn't
that's
really an example, though, was it?
yeah, that's a great example. Discipline. I don't want discipline to happen, or I think maybe this is too harsh, or even this is too light. We have a disagreement on that. It's a perfect example of where, okay, I'll just be the symmetry breaker. Okay, ultimately, I'm going to make the choice. And I think that's actually necessary.
Yeah. Honestly, I see, like I said, I don't think that it works in every relationship, but, like, for me personally, like, I don't like making decisions, so I like having that in my relationship
I think
too.
when there's a
Like,
good balance of masculine and feminine energy, if the man leads, it allows women to sit in their feminine, and that's what we're so desperately missing right now in this country. Like, it's actually sad. I mean, I grew up with a single mother
Oh, no, I
for the
think
most
we got
part,
plenty of feminine
and
energy.
I think that for the most part,
From men.
Yes, I'm agreeing.
if we had
Not from women, but from men.
if we had more of strong relationships and nuclear family, then women wouldn't be forced as much to work on their own as much as they are, and they'd be able to rest more in their feminine. So I think it's kind of a
That's why I'm
co-joint
voting
issue.
for Kamala, to try to get back to that strong.
You mean fraudulent?
What do you
Fraudulent
mean?
femininity?
You don't like that I'm voting for Kamala?
Hey, to each their own. I'm not the
I
one
mean,
making the
she's-
vote.
Are you actually?
He's
Okay,
got to be
I was
trolling.
like-
He's
Okay,
trolling.
no.
He's trolling.
All right, so clip it.
I was like, maybe there's some sort of, like, I don't know, like, reverse psychology or something in voting for her.
No. She said that
I knew.
She has, she like works for a senior Trump
Oh,
advisor.
yeah.
So I thought that would just
That makes sense,
introduce like pressure for no particularly good reason. But anyway, so back to this. Yeah, I think this will always be the case. I think anytime you have two people, or what you'd say two consciousnesses, which come into contact, they necessarily try to dominate each other no matter what. No matter what. I don't care what the circumstance is. Something like that is occurring. So since I think something like that is always occurring, I don't think it's any different in a relationship. And one of the personalities is going to have to be dominant.